Two people can walk into the same market, use the same currency, and participate in completely different economic processes. One enters the market to obtain the things required to live. The other enters the market to leave with more money than they started with. Welcome to Democratic Economy, where we follow the structure of the system to identify the underlying mechanisms of inequality. The first circuit is CMC. C stands for commodity. M stands for money. Commodity becomes money, and money becomes another commodity. Imagine an independent furniture maker. The maker produces a table, sells it for money, and uses that money to buy food, housing, clothing, tools, and other needed commodities. The maker does not sell the table because money is delicious or provides shelter. Money is an intermediary. The objective is to exchange a commodity with relatively little personal use for commodities with greater use. Most wage workers follow the same circuit, but the commodity they sell is their labor power. The worker sells the use of their capacity to labor for a period of time. The worker receives wages and spends those wages on the commodities needed to reproduce daily life. The worker begins with a commodity, passes through money, and ends with commodities. The circuit is organized around consumption and survival. Now consider MCM prime. The capitalist begins with money. That money purchases commodities used in production, raw materials, machinery, buildings, energy, and labor power. The resulting product is sold for more money than the capitalist originally advanced. The apostrophe matters. M prime means the original money plus an increase. M prime equals M plus delta M. Delta M is the additional value realized as profit. If a capitalist begins with $100 and ends with the same $100, the circuit has failed in its capitalist purpose. The chairs may be comfortable and the customers may be happy, but capital did not expand. The use value of the final commodity matters because someone must buy it. But the capitalist does not generally produce 10,000 chairs because 10,000 chairs would look lovely in the living room. The objective is the expanded money at the end. These circuits define class structurally. A worker is not simply someone who has less money. A capitalist is not simply anyone with savings, a retirement account, or an expensive car. The distinction concerns each person's relationship to production. The worker must sell labor power to gain access to the commodities required to live. The capitalist controls enough money and productive property to purchase labor power and organize production for the purpose of obtaining M prime. Real people can occupy mixed positions. A small business owner may work long hours inside the business while also employing others. A worker may own a small amount of stock. Those complications matter in real life, but they do not erase the two structural circuits. The question is, which circuit governs the person's role in production? This distinction also explains why workers and capitalists approach the same business differently. For workers, wages are the money connecting their labor power to food, rent, medicine, transportation, and family life. For capital, wages appear as part of C, a commodity cost purchased on the way from M to M prime. The worker experiences a wage as access to life. The capitalist experiences the same wage as a deduction from potential profit. That does not require either individual to be unusually cruel or unusually virtuous. The circuits create different incentives. Workers seek higher wages because wages determine how much of the social product they can access. Capitalists seek lower labor costs because reducing C can increase the difference between M and M prime. Now we arrive at the central problem. If commodities exchange at their values, where does the extra money come from? Buying a machine for its value and selling the resulting product at its value does not magically create new value through the act of exchange. If one capitalist merely cheats another by buying low and selling high, value changes hands, but society as a whole does not gain additional value. One person's gain is another person's loss. Yet the capitalist class repeatedly completes the circuit with M prime. The increase must be produced somewhere between the purchase of commodities and the final sale. The simple notation hides the most important stage. The fuller circuit is MC, followed by production, followed by C prime, M prime. Something happens during production that makes C prime contain more value than the commodities originally purchased. The capitalist purchases raw materials and machinery. But those inputs only transfer their existing value into the final product. The capitalist also purchases labor power. Labor power is unique because its use in production can create more value than the wage paid to obtain it. That difference is the source of surplus value. In the next video, we will enter the production stage, hidden inside MCM prime. We will see how wages purchase labor power, how living labor creates new value, and why the sale of the commodity realizes profit without being its original source.